Hello my friends and welcome to an entirely new Let's Play. This one has a very strange yet awkward sort of Japanese origin. And before I actually start, let's just get this out of the way. Now the game that we're playing, the game that you see on screen, is called Xexyz, to which many people just don't know how to pronounce it. It's basically like saying sex, like sex, and yz, like, ease. So, yeah, Xexyz. Its original origin is that of from an old Japanese folktale. The Japanese version of this game is called Kame no Ongaeshi. Urashima Densetsu. And therefore it's sort of a retelling of the tale of Urashima Taro, which is technically a Japanese version of Whip Family Eagle. So what we're dealing with is that of a tale of a fisherman, because that's what Urashima Taro was. A fisherman who basically shooed away a crab from a turtle, in which you've seen in many other forms in different sorts of anime. And because of his kindness, the turtle offered him a ride to the Dragon Palace, to which he was entertained by the princess. And therefore, from that, he stayed there for about 4 to 5 years until he decided to go back to his own time and found out that time had passed since then. Remember, time skips and all that. So therefore, we come to this game. Now, apparently the character in question in the Japanese version, his name is Ken, who is a descendant of Urashima Taro. So therefore, when I post it, you'll actually see the Japanese cover of the game instead of what we got over here in the US. Another thing of note, and I did this before I actually started this project, was I looked up the difference between the opening and the ending. Now, pretty much throughout the whole, well, there is a difference between this version and the Japanese version. This version has most of the story cut out. You see, in this version, Xexyz is the name of a planet, where in the Japanese version, the whole story takes place in a future version of Tokyo. What is cut out in this version, the version that we're going to be playing, is that at the end of each stage, there's a little turtle dance that is added after you save each princess. Now, pretty much that is the only thing that is about the same. I mean, the action modes, like the running and jumping parts and the shooter parts, they're all the same. It's just that little part, and plus the endings. Like many other games of that time during the NES era, in Japan, there, like say Bayou Billy, when it was ported over as Bayou Billy, Mad City actually had two endings. One was you can just not save Annabelle or just walk away from her instead of embracing her, and the other is embracing her and saying I missed you, I didn't want to lose you again, and ABCDFG, that sort of thing. Xexyz does the same thing, or rather, its Japanese version does the same thing, except you have a choice in the matter. Now, what that is, I'm not going to say because it is a choice of three endings. But I will explain it. I will explain it when we get to the end of this series. But for now, I thought I'd drop this little bit of knowledge to you because of course, the names have changed. The names of the weapons have changed, and mind you, the theme of this whole game is it's futuristic, and the whole thing has a marine motif to it. So therefore, when we get to showing off the game, or rather, when I get to showing off the game, I'm just getting all this out of the way, just so you know that everything sort of makes sense and doesn't make sense as far as the porting was concerned. Now, yeah, I would call this a part zero because I'm not going to show the I'm not going to go through the game quite just yet. I just want to get all this backstory out of the way, just so when we get into it, you guys know the difference between the Japanese version and the US version. Technically, the Japanese version had a lot of more backstory compared to the US version, which had very little. But they compensated for it at the end of the game. So with that said, in the next part, we're actually going to start up this weird and wacky little game known as Xexyz, brought to us by Hudson Soft of 1988 and 89. So I will see you when we actually start up this Let's Play. So until then, I'll see you next time.